Today, I want to talk to you about Etsy and whether it's worth you selling your needle felted sculptures in an Etsy shop. My name is Charlotte Allen and you've reached my channel, The Felting Alchemist. So should you or should you not sell your needle felted sculptures in an Etsy shop? Is it going to be worth it? Well, I would say, and this is just from my personal experience, yes and no. The reason I say yes is because I think Etsy is a really good launch pad if you're just starting out, okay? Now, some people will disagree with me here because Etsy's changed a lot of its algorithms of late, and it's also changed its fees as well, so it's a lot more expensive than it used to be, and it's a lot harder to get seen in terms of your artwork being put in front of the right customer. But when you look at all the other websites that sell handmade items all over the world, I do think Etsy has a place. Now, I started my Etsy shop back in 2018, and I think it was quite a good time to start because although it wasn't easy to get seen on Etsy, it was easier than it is now. And I think starting an Etsy shop now is quite a tricky process, I'm not going to lie to you, and not in terms of setting the shop up itself. That's straightforward, and if you want, I can show you how to do that. I can make a video showing you how to set up your own Etsy shop. What I'm talking about is your target market and getting your sculptures under the noses of your target market so you can guarantee sales. Now, I don't protest to know anything about the Etsy algorithm, and I think there's loads of people out there that put videos on it and how it changes, and this is how you nail the algorithm this week, and then it changes again the following week, and I can't keep up with it. But I sell my products with Etsy for a few reasons. The first reason is because they have their review system, so it gives people a bit of comfort to be able to look at the reviews and know that they're going to get a good customer experience if they buy from that particular shop if the reviews are really good. The second reason is because if people are searching for something, say for instance a needle felted animal, somewhere within that search bar your product is going to sit, okay? It might not sit at the top at the moment, but it will sit somewhere within that, okay? And I think that's really important because if you think about the number of people that visit Etsy on a daily basis, and I think it's in the millions, at some point someone is going to come across your products, okay? And what you can do once you've grabbed your customer is you can give them such an amazing customer experience, something they have never experienced before in terms of customer service. They will come back to you and they will buy from you again. And I can say that with a lot of certainty because I have a lot of repeat customers on my shop, which is called Little Bushka, littlebushka.com if you want to take a look at it, and I'll pop a link below in the description so you can visit it if you want to and just see what I do. And the third reason why I sell on Etsy is because people feel more comfortable buying on Etsy. It's a big, well-known website. It has customer protection, so if you fail to get your order out to the customer on time or anything like that, they get refunded. They can put bad marks against your name. It gives them all that power and those functions to be able to ensure that they have a good customer experience. And if they don't have a good customer experience, then they can kick off to Etsy, and Etsy can spank your bottom and tell you off and you know, take the money out of your account and all that kind of stuff. So those are the reasons why I sell with Etsy. Now, one of the big negatives for selling on Etsy that I find is that it's Etsy. And that sounds a bit strange, but let me break this down to you. So let me explain myself, okay? Humour me here. Imagine you are a customer on Etsy and you are in the market for a soap. And you search and search and search and search all the different sellers, and eventually you find this soap, and it's the best soap of all the soaps you've looked at. It's handmade, it's organic, it's got kind of oatmeal in it, it's got fresh lavender in it, it's beautifully packaged, the seller's got loads of really good reviews, loads of people are recommending them, and you're thinking, yeah, I'm going to buy this soap for my Aunt Mabel because she absolutely loves lavender and you know, and I know that she'll absolutely love this gift. Okay, so you buy the soap, and then the soap arrives, and then you give your soap to Aunt Mabel, and Aunt Mabel says, oh my dear, thank you so much, where did you buy this from? And you say, oh, I bought it on Etsy. See where I'm going with this? So you haven't said, I bought it from Mary's Handmade Soaps or Donna's Delightful Delicacies or anything like that. You've said you've bought it from Etsy because Etsy is the name in your mind. And that's the problem with Etsy, I think. Sometimes you can kind of get absorbed into all the other sellers and you lose that individuality. So that's something to bear in mind. Having said that, I think branding is very key if you're on Etsy. So having good branding, making sure that if you do sell anything, you label it up with your logo, you put your business cards inside, you put handmade thank you notes inside, all that kind of stuff. So people remember to come back to you, and I'll talk about discounts and stuff on another day. But that's really important, and even more important if you're selling on Etsy, because you want the person to remember you. Otherwise, they're just going to see you as another Etsy seller. Another downside to Etsy is the fees, and I know a little while back when they increased their fees, I think it was going back about 4 months ago now or something like that, so it's 6.5% that you pay now on any transaction that you sell with Etsy, and then you've got additional fees on top. So I think you pay something like 3% on the postage that you charge and the gift wrap, and then you've got all your transaction fees, and it all adds up. I think it adds up to around about, and I haven't worked this out, I'm just guessing now, doing some very quick sums in my head, but I think it's around 15%, something like that you probably paying fees all in told when everything's put together. So the fees are annoying, and you know, it would be great if there wasn't any fees. But I've sold in a few different places now. I've sold in brick and mortar shops, I've sold on my own website, and I've sold on Etsy. I haven't sold on Folks Your New Monday, but the reason for that is I don't tend to find that they pop up on search results as much as something like Etsy. Etsy and Not on the High Street tend to dominate Google when you search for things like handmade gifts or kind of quirky gifts and things like that. And then you've got all the other bits and pieces, like if you're in the UK, you might get like John Lewis ads and stuff like that popping up, and then you get all the Google ads as well. But you want to be quite targeted in where you choose to sell your item, because you don't want to put your beautiful sculptures on a website that sell handmade goods and then nobody visit it, because it just defeats the whole object. And it's quite a lengthy process, making up a listing, taking the photos, kind of working out the price for it, writing the description, all that stuff. So you don't want it to go to waste. So I would definitely recommend picking a website, if you are going to go down that road, that does have good traffic to it. So somewhere like Etsy, somewhere like Not on the High Street. I'll talk about Not on the High Street in a minute. But there is that negative side of the fees. But I've sold in brick and mortar shops where the fees are 40%, the fees are 20%, and then I pay like £25 every 6 months. One place they times the value of the item you're selling by 2 and add VAT on top, so it's an astronomical price. So then you end up having to lower the price of your goods, and then you start questioning, well, actually, is it worth me selling in this shop, because I'm paying so much money in fees to them, so much commission to them, I'm not actually getting any financial benefit myself. And then that's when you have to weigh up things like whether it's getting your work out there more and people are going to see it, and then they're going to go and visit your website more. And that's the reason why I sell in shops like that, because whilst financially it's not great for me, from a social proof point of view it is, because it's like, oh, this person's selling in this art shop. This art shop's got lots of lovely things in it. It's very, very expensive. I'm going to go in here. Oh, they've got a card. I might pick their card up and I might have a look on their website. Okay, so that's why I do that. So I haven't completely lost my marbles. I'm not kind of just giving my stuff away, but there's always a reason why I'm doing something. I don't just put stuff in shops for the fun of putting it in and just hope it sells. I used to do that, but now I like to think I'm a little bit more tactical as to where I sell my sculptures and who I'm going to put them in front of. And that's the next thing I want to talk about. There is a vast amount of people selling on Etsy. I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many sellers there are on Etsy at the moment, because it's just so easy to set up an Etsy shop. You literally just go on, you kind of like put a few pictures up and banners and things like that, and you're ready to go. You're ready to rock with whatever you want to sell. And this isn't a good thing, because then you end up with all sorts of sellers that aren't necessarily handmade. So you get people like drop shippers and stuff like that. Now, I don't fall out with drop shippers, you know, they have their place, but I think on a marketplace like Etsy, they're missing the boat a little bit, because it's not a handmade item. And the whole reason why Etsy was started was because it was for people that were selling handmade items. So I kind of think Etsy's lost its way in that respect of letting anybody join and not having any kind of vetting process whatsoever. So in order to stand out and in order to give your products more value, it's really important that you get your branding spot on. You really want to choose branding that looks high end, that looks premium, so that when people click on your shop, they go, oh wow, this person looks incredibly professional. They're selling their artwork, the photographs look amazing, because that's one of my pet hates, when people don't take good photographs and they look horrible and grainy. So they take amazing photographs, the products look beautiful, the descriptions are really informative but not too long, all that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of thing you need to encompass into your Etsy shop, so that when people do eventually click on your shop, they click on it and they stay there and they eventually buy something. They might not buy something first time, but they will eventually buy something if it makes a good impression on them, especially when you get to periods like Christmas, Easter, significant birthdays, all that kind of stuff. So as you can see, there are pros and cons to having an Etsy shop. So I don't have my own website at the moment. I don't have the time to maintain it at the moment, which is another plus with Etsy, because everything kind of gets maintained for you. Any glitches, any sort of techie issues will get resolved by their massive in-house team. So it's not just you on your own having to kind of like sort out why a particular product won't load on this page and why everything's crashed and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And it's all incredibly stressful. So I use Etsy for ease, and yeah, there's fees there, but actually in the grand scheme of things, the fees in Etsy are a lot cheaper than other places. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, selling on Etsy successfully is a dark art. And I would be lying to you if I said I've got it completely nailed. I have nice steady sales throughout the year, but I'm not selling like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of items at all. And I do think that the people that sell hundreds of items are probably making things more en masse, and they're selling things that people are always wanting to buy. So things like, I don't know, name stickers for school stuff for your children, or like favours for weddings and things like that. Some things that are small that aren't overly expensive. I'm not saying that big things don't sell as well, because people sell all kinds of stuff on Etsy. You can buy tables and furniture and all sorts of stuff, but I do think there are particular niches within the Etsy platform that sell larger volumes and make more money than, say, needle felting, because we are like a luxury, aren't we? We are that thing that people buy as a gift for someone else, and it's something that they want to treasure a lifetime. But we don't necessarily create things that people would buy to use on a daily basis, like, I don't know, a toothbrush or something like that, bamboo toothbrush or something. So that's something to bear in mind. But I think if you're starting out, if you've never sold anything before in your life on anywhere, Etsy is a good place to go to. And then you can just direct your friends and family to your website, get them to check it out. Some people might buy things. The minute people start buying things is the minute that your shop starts getting to rank higher. So the more people buy, the more it will get seen. So that's something to think about when you're starting your Etsy shop, and I can talk about that in another video. I hope I've given you some food for thought. There's many of you here that have probably sold on Etsy, and you might have had your fingers burnt and thought, no, don't want to do that again, it was a waste of time. Or you might have a shop on Etsy at the moment and it's doing quite well. So I'd be really interested to know your thoughts, and get your thoughts on what I've said as well, because you might disagree with me. And please, if you don't agree with me, please do, because I'm always interested in having a discussion about things, and I'm always open to being told that I'm wrong. So please put your thoughts in the comments. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you could like it, because the dark art of the YouTube algorithm means that if people like my videos, it gets shown to more people. So if you could like my videos, that would be amazing. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I will see you tomorrow with more needle felting hints and tips. Bye!